LA staple. I don't know if anybody outside of LA really knows about it, but if you're in LA and you have money, you know about this particular place because
Well, that's not expensive either.
it's a 24-hour
Breakfast spot.
just
Well,
breakfast spot that they brag that since they have opened the company, they have never locked their doors. They have always been open, and there's always a line. So
so funny story. They did get shut down by the Department of Health one day, and that's what shut them down.
yeah, I'm sure that was the only time they had their doors locked.
No,
Um,
the door was still open, which is the funny part.
so
The door open so they can keep that claim going.
so as well, here are some other questions that you can ask yourself when it comes to your motivations and keeping it in. Before we move on, yeah, just try anything. Dabble in hobbies. Learn. Don't be afraid to learn different things. Go out and experience and find the things that make you feel something, makes you feel passionate. And
Live
then,
life. Really. That's the most important thing. When you live life and you're active doing stuff, that's when you find your passion. That's where
ex-
your calling comes to you.
experience breeds ideas, and ideas lead to your passions usually. But until you get that experience, you're not going to get the ideas, and you're not going to have the one that ignites your passion to move forward. So try it, try any and everything. So also as well, being that we're discussing development, once you have that idea and you're ready to move forward with it, that there are a lot of things to consider, especially personality traits on whether or not you're capable of running a business, because there are going to be challenges up the yin yang.
Well,
Um,
that's why in the same place where you're writing what you're good at, it's good to write what you're not good at, things that you are not confident about, that you have shortcomings about. Because
mm.
once you identify those, then you can actually find someone who can fill those gaps for you or learn to fill those gaps yourself.
And there's as we said, a lot of things to consider, especially whether it's a product or a service. We didn't even talk about whether it's going to be a brick or mortar or they're going to be online. We didn't talk about licenses. We didn't talk about permits and all that stuff. um, Whether you're going to be doing international trade. If there's a lot of stuff to consider when it comes to your business. um, so for us, there are different types of business entities. So Ian and I are going to make our company into a limited liability um, and
LLC.
an LLC, and we're just going to be a general partnership. But I want to quickly list the other types of businesses, which is the following. So there's the sole proprietorship, a one owner business in which the owner is personally liable for all business debts. The general
That's
partnership,
cool, but who wants to be liable?
but then again, you gain everything. You take all the risks, but you gain all of the rewards as well. Um,
True.
eh, Jeff Bezos is not tripping on being a sole proprietor, not at all. He, I'm sure he.
Hey, you know what? He took the L on that divorce and was like 75 billion. Okay.
Well,
And
that
like the next day, he made something like 20 billion.
Well, that's the problem when you get into a marriage LLC and not protected by law. That's a different type of partnership. Ours is going to be a general partnership in which it's a business entity formed by two or more people, all of whom are personally liable for all partnership debts. When two or more people are in business together and haven't formed a limited partnership corporation or limited liability company, which is what we're doing, they're treated as general partnership by law, even if they haven't signed a formal partnership agreement. A partnership doesn't pay federal income taxes. A partner's share of profits or losses is reported on his or her personal tax return. So,
Which means it's not income, it's
yes.
profit, and you're taxed differently. So it's not an income tax, which most people are used to paying on their taxes.
Now,
That's how the rich people stay rich because they don't actually get income from having positions and jobs. They own stuff, so they get profits, which are
Yeah,
tax different.
yeah. Then there's corporation, which is when you can become public, which we'll talk about public and private soon. Is a business entity formed by one or more shareholders. Ordinarily, a shareholder is not personally liable for the corporation's debts. This is so whether or not the corporation is organized for tax purposes as a regular C corporation or an S corporation. The two types of corporations differ only in terms of tax treatment. The big difference is that the undistributed income of a regular corporation is taxed at the corporate level. That's not true with an S corp. For tax purposes, income and losses pass through the individual shareholders as if they were partners in a partnership.
So it's a way to share losses. If you're a company, an S corp just is basically, if I'm losing, y'all losing too.
Pretty much, yeah. You get to just yank the whole ship up from under everyone. And then there's of course what we're going to be, which is a limited liability company or LLC, a business entity formed by one or more members. Ordinarily, a member is not personally liable for the LLC's debts and is taxed in the same way as he or she were a partner, unless the LLC chooses to be taxed as a corporation. It gives you a lot more freedom, and the company is more on the hook than the individual person or partner. So a
So
lot of
what
stuff to
happens
consider.
with the LLC? A lot of people get kind of confused. Like, it sounds on paper just now, it sounds like the best way, right? But what happens is when you're in an LLC, right? You aren't an owner, you're an employee of that LLC. And as an employee of that LLC, you have a fiduciary responsibility to do right by the company. And what that means is basically you got to do right financially, you have to do right uh, intellectually, and all these other ways that you have to do right by the company, or you can be found at fault for defrauding the company for some reason or not, and then you become liable for whatever issue comes up.
Yes.
It's not really a cop out in the way that people like to think. My company fails, I'll just write it off. If they find you to be liable for the failure, you're still liable because you didn't uphold your end of the fiduciary responsibility.
Yes. So I'm also going to read now from a book called The Business Startup Kit by Stephen D. Strauss, Dearborn Publishing. And we're just going to read, I'm going to read a few things from the first couple of chapters that might help with your development. And when I say planning, we're going to talk more about what you should go into planning more in detail when we talk about the prelim to the business plan, and we talk about our business plan that we wrote and are currently writing for the comic book company. But all of these are just notes and things to start taking down to get ready for the planning and to make sure that whatever it is that you choose to do as your company, you have it locked down and that you're committed before going to the next step. That's why we're trying to take it slowly, so it gives you time uh, to figure out and plan along. We're a little bit further ahead. We're just trying to give you the principles that we took to catch you up to where we are. So, any notes before I uh, go into a couple of these paragraphs?
Well, my only note is don't feel like you have to be in a rush to start your company.
Mm-hmm.
Do the research, find out what works best for you, your company, and the situation that you're in, and do it piece by piece. You don't have to feel overwhelmed by just jumping in with both feet and drowning in it. But if you do it in that way, I think it's manageable even for people with anxiety or who feel uncertain about where they're going.
Gotcha. All right, so this is going to be part one in the development series. It's mainly going to be focusing on the business. We're going to do we're going to probably record part two tomorrow, but release it in intervals during the week, in which we start talking about project development, because we wanted to talk about our app, our video game, and our comic book that we're launching, and how we just the tenements of what we did to develop those particular projects and how they're moving along. So we'll get into that, but I feel like I have preambled this too much. So Ian, stop me if you have anything that you want to add. Okay.
Nah, man. But now the plan.
Okay. So here's the business overview. Congratulations. The decision to start your own business can be one of the best you will ever make in your life. Owning your own business should be an exhilarating, inspiring grand adventure, one full of new sights and experiences, delicious highs and occasional lows, tricky paths, and hopefully big open skies. Um,
I feel
there.
like that's somebody's like a Native American name, Big Open Sky.
All right. So to be fair, there are going to be pros and cons when it comes to opening your business, and here's some stuff to consider. There are trade-offs when you decide to start a business. Difficult bosses, annoying coworkers, peculiar policies, demands upon your time, and limits on how much money you can make are traded for independence, creativity, opportunity, and power. But by the same token, you also swap a regular paycheck and benefits for no paycheck and no benefits. A life of security, comfort, and regularity is traded one of uncertainty.
Now, hold on 1 second. Now that right there makes it sound like being an employee is just like the easiest thing in the world.
No, that's what happens when you become an employer. You're giving up. Well, true. They don't mention that you don't have benefits uh, in your current job, or your benefits are garbage. But
Yeah,
it's something. The paycheck.
true.
It's real. It's real things to consider.
Oh, you have money to come in, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, just like professionally, being an employee is financially lucrative for me, and turning it around, and if in a different industry, I can see where it's not. Like if I was, say, working somewhere that I was making minimum wage, and then I have to fight for my hours too,
yeah.
and you get the bad hours, you have to go back and forth. Right there is when I think you should really dig in. Like, okay, this isn't working. I need something else. Well, what can I be? What can I do as an entrepreneur myself to sell my skill sets or whatever I can sell? And that's what I think what starts a lot of businesses, because you get tired of being in the rat race or at the bottom rungs of whatever company you're in, and getting the shaft.
Mm-hmm. I totally get you. Um, so here are some of the pros that they list, and let's get your thoughts. So I'm going to try to keep it condensed for time, because even though we do this in 15-minute increments and we edit, we tend to talk a little long no matter what. So this is going to be long no matter what. So I'm trying to keep it down. As you can see, I'm doing that
It's
terribly.
a real life conversation. That's why.
Yeah, I do that. I'm terrible at cutting. Anyway, control. Even if you like your boss and your job, thank you, Jinnett. Uh,
I am a Jackson.
yes, you are. That's why I'm about to say, Mr. Jackson, if you're nasty, but that was two on the nose. I remember your name was Jackson. All right, control. Even if you like your boss and your job, the possibility remains that you can be laid off at any time. That boss you like so much can be transferred. That's that's super real.
Hey, that's happened.
That's so real. Your company can go bankrupt. That's also super real. So one advantage of starting your own oh yeah. So one advantage of starting your own business is that you are more in control of your working career. And while that may be comforting, you should also realize that control will come increased responsibility and a new set of demands. As the boss, the buck must stop with you. You are the one who has to meet payroll. You are the one who has to make sure that the clients and customers are happy. You are the one who must hire and fire employees. It's not always easy, and you can bet that there will certainly be times when you look fondly back on your days as an employee when you have far less responsibility and control. Next is money.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'd be the one who's gonna be firing people.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you're the firing. I'm creative. I get along with everybody. You're the goatee wearing devil, and you fire everybody, and tell them to get the hell out. And, no, we're gonna be cool people. We only fire people if they need to be fired. We're not. There's no power struggle when it comes to this. Money. Many people choose to start.
Money.
I will wait a second for you to sing the appropriate song.
Money.
Thank you.
All right.
Many people choose to start their own business for the simple reason